Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Priska Jordan, and I make videos for women who value their personal style over fashion. In today's video, I want to show you 10 pieces to declutter from your wardrobe to enhance your sense of style. Too many clothes can be just as detrimental as too few, because when you open your closet in the morning and you're overwhelmed by all your options, it causes a thing that psychologists call decision fatigue. And this is the same reason why when my husband goes to the Cheesecake Bistro, he's overwhelmed by the book of a menu. We don't want so many options. We want just enough to create a sense of style, but not so many options that we're overwhelmed and end up sticking to our same few go-to outfits. When you declutter your closet and streamline your sense of style, you'll have more outfits that you feel confident wearing in every room that you enter. Let me paint a picture for you. You're driving down the road and think of your future stylish outfits as your end goal. The route to get there is a streamlined wardrobe, and the starting point is your closet today. You can think of clutter or pieces that you just don't wear as roadblocks on your way to get to the end goal of very stylish outfits. So as a favorite author of mine put it, to get there, let's start with the end goal in mind. And that means visualizing the favorite outfits that you have already worn. The way I quickly do this is by keeping a photo album in my phone of my favorite outfits that I've worn in the past. But if you don't have that, just close your eyes and visualize your favorite outfits that you've worn and how you feel when you're wearing them. When you're clear on your positive feelings, then the negative feelings become obvious because of contrast. Now that you're clear on your favorite outfits, I want to tell you my updated process of decluttering. I made one of these videos a couple of years ago, and I've made just a few tweaks based on lessons I've learned. So the updated process is 3 steps: touch, sort, analyze. The first step is to touch every clothing piece. A lot of times we can't logically figure out why we don't like something, but we have an emotional reaction to how we're wearing it. And I do not mean a hysterical emotional reaction. I just mean, do you feel happy wearing it, or do you feel a little bit sad and frumpy? I'm a firm believer that emotions are there to give you green, yellow, and red flags for things that your logic hasn't quite put into words yet. So as you're touching your pieces of clothing, how do you feel about them? Do you remember a time that you were running late for work and you threw on an outfit with this piece of clothing and it didn't work, which caused you more frustration? So that might be an emotion that you remember. So the first step is to touch every piece of clothing to decide whether you want to declutter it or not. The second step is to sort it. We're going to have a yes pile, a maybe pile, and a no pile. This is where my process has been updated because I'm actually one of the weird people who releases things too quickly because it just feels good to get out some clutter. And then sometimes I have donation regret. In the past, I've been so hasty to get rid of all the clutter that I haven't sorted things as mindfully as I like to. So the maybe pile are those pieces that you need to think about a little bit longer, and it's okay to have that. I've heard another stylist say if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I used to take that approach, but then I would have donation regret. Now, if that's not you, if you're someone who likes the yes, no, black and white, it is what it is, then that is totally fine. This is just my updated process to declutter more intentionally. Now, a really smart subscriber sent in this tip a couple of years ago probably, and I've been using it ever since. Once you have your declutter pile, and that's everything in the no category, you can put it in a bag or a box and stick it in a hallway closet out of sight. If you think of something you want to wear and pick it back up, then you have it. But if you haven't thought about it or wanted it in a month or two, you can affirm that decision that it needs to be decluttered. Step 3 is to analyze the clothes that you're decluttering. So for example, I noticed that the last couple of years, polyester has often been in the declutter pile because it makes me sweat. I just don't really like wearing polyester. So by taking note of all the polyester pieces, it reminds me as I'm shopping, don't buy polyester because you don't like wearing it and it's quickly decluttered. But just as important as it is to ask yourself, why do I not like the pieces that I'm tossing? You want to ask yourself, why do I like the pieces that I'm keeping? By taking note, either physically or mentally, of these questions, you're going to start to realize what you really like, and you won't be distracted when you go into a store and there's a sale or there's a really cute piece on a mannequin, because you know what looks good on you. This is also going to cure that revolving door in your closet where pieces come in and pieces go out steadily. Instead, you're going to get really focused on the clothes that you feel confident wearing. So now that you understand my updated declutter process, which is touch, sort, and analyze, here are the 10 pieces you need to declutter for your closet to improve your personal style. This is a quick one to get us rolling. Torn, worn out, and stained clothing. It's not serving you anyway, so why do you end up keeping it? Maybe you don't notice, or maybe you think it's okay. For example, with bras, underwear, and socks, nobody sees it anyway. But if it's not supporting your style, it's not supporting you, then it might be time to go ahead and replace it. With bras, if the cup is gaping, then it's not going to serve your style and it's really not supporting you. Or with your underwear, if it's overstretched and the elasticity is ruined. With your socks, if they're holey, all these things are not serving you, so it's time to replace them. Now, instead of just decluttering them, I want you to make a note of when you replace them. Do you want the exact piece or do you want something different? This way, when you update your undergarments, it's actually going to be an upgrade for you. It's going to be more specific to what you really want. As I was recently decluttering my closet, I noticed that I had some white tees that weren't serving me because I would pull them out and realize they're faded and discolored. And the reason why is because I don't really have enough white clothes to do a separate load of laundry, so I throw it in with everything else, and of course that results in faded tees. So I made a note that when I replace this tee, don't buy it in a light color because it's not practical for the way that I do laundry. So as you sort through your wardrobe, your torn, worn out, and stained pieces, go ahead and declutter them and make a note for how you want to replace them. Old me clothes are things that don't fit your current style, but for some reason you just keep holding on to. And I have had so many different style eras. I started with emo in high school and mismatched in like a cute way, a clubbing era, all neutral everything, leopard everything, even if it looked awful on my skin tone. I've had a lot of different eras, and the way that I decluttered and really affirmed that these things are not for me anymore is actually by putting it on my Instagram stories and having y'all vote yes or no. And that made it very clear what looks good on me and what really doesn't. But then I still had to say goodbye to these pieces, and this mindset shift really helped me to release things that aren't serving me. Something that is not serving you anymore is an expired blessing. Similar to fruit in a fruit basket, it's good while it's fresh, but once it starts rotting and stinking up your kitchen, it is no longer a blessing. It is expired. And this is kind of where my analogy breaks down, but something that used to be a blessing to you and now is just clutter can actually be a blessing to someone else. You can ask your friends if they want any of these pieces, you can donate them, you can sell them to a thrift shop, which I personally like to do because I just like to know that it's going to good use. And if a store is paying me for it, then I'm pretty sure they're going to try to sell it to someone who wants it. And that makes me feel better about getting rid of it. It's no longer a waste, it's something that's being blessed for to someone else. So now that you've heard about my past eras of style, what old me clothing pieces are in your wardrobe that don't fit your style anymore? Okay, here's where I want to make a distinction between the yes pile, the no pile, and the maybe pile. Before you release the maybe pile, ask yourself these questions. Number one, is there something wrong with the piece, such as style, fit, color, or even the fabric? Like I mentioned, I don't really like polyester. So if there's something wrong with the piece itself, that's probably going to go into the no pile, but make a note what you didn't like about it. But question number 2 is, do I just not know how to style the piece? So the piece is fine, I like it, I just don't know how to wear it. In that case, you can look on Pinterest for very specific search terms that are going to populate outfits that can inspire how you wear the piece. So for example, you can search wide leg jeans with sneakers and find a variety of outfits that might help you to restyle that piece. And number 3, am I missing something to create an outfit out of this piece of clothing? I recently bought a pair of pink wide leg jeans that I adore, but I'm realizing now I don't have the exact top that I really want. I styled it in a previous video with a small tank top, and that's passable, but it's not my favorite. So I'm realizing now I need like a puff sleeve top to go with that outfit to balance the volume in the bottom and the volume up top. By taking that note down, I'm realizing I need to shop for that specific piece to complete the outfit. So before you convert all of your maybes to no's, ask yourself those questions and you'll have a more intentional decluttering process. The third category of pieces that you want to declutter to streamline your style are things that don't honor your current lifestyle. I think the word lifestyle can be kind of confusing, and I don't think I've ever explained it on this channel. So lifestyle just means how you're living your life, your day-to-day. Do you go into the office? Are you chasing littles around? Are you going on walks throughout the day? How's your climate where you live in your region? These are all things that play into your lifestyle, and your wardrobe needs to match how you're spending your time. So instead of these Instagram-worthy pictures or Pinterest-worthy pictures, we want pieces that you can live and breathe and move in. And I'm obviously very passionate about matching style and lifestyle. So let's get rid of the pieces that don't honor your current lifestyle. For example, a few years ago, I quit corporate finance world. And so I had this entire wardrobe for work that was kind of pricey. It was high heels and starched business suits and pieces that do not convert to my current work from home lifestyle. I held on to those pieces for somewhere around 3 to 6 months. I really can't remember. So it wasn't that easy to part ways with because at the time it was the most expensive part of my wardrobe. But I realized this is an expired blessing for me and I can bless it forward to someone else who needs workwear. Now, if you're confused about what exactly your lifestyle looks like right now, maybe you're in between seasons or you're in a new season and you haven't quite figured it out, you can track your hours. What do you do in an average week? Do you go to the gym? Do you sit at your computer? Do you go to the coffee shop? Do you go to church? All these different things are going to factor into your lifestyle. This category is so obvious. Pieces that don't fit, they don't honor your current body, just like we talked about your current style, your current lifestyle, and now we're on to your current body. So if it's so obvious, why do we keep these pieces? A lot of people have a skinny wardrobe, and if that's you, here's what I have to tell you. You really don't need to be opening your closet in the mornings and immediately feeling a sense of guilt because you have this skinny wardrobe staring at you. There's an urban legend that if you leave your skinny wardrobe hanging out, just looking at you every morning, it's going to inspire you to lose weight. But I have never, ever, ever heard anyone say, I lost weight and kept it off because I kept that bully in my wardrobe called my skinny clothes to just stare at me every morning and intimidate me into losing weight. All it does is make you feel bad in the morning. And you're not going to choose an outfit that makes you feel confident if you're feeling bad just by opening up your closet. So go ahead and declutter that skinny clothes wardrobe. Then consider, is your weight really bad or wrong, or are you shaming yourself into believing something that is propagated by unrealistic societal standards that are held up by media and Photoshop and models who are practicing very unhealthy habits to keep childish looking bodies, and that is actually harmful to all of our mental health. And that is a TED Talk for another time, but really consider, are you bullying yourself? Are you shaming yourself into believing something about what your body should be instead of enjoying and celebrating what your body is today? I believe that self-love is a prerequisite to having a healthy body instead of you bully yourself into a healthy body and then you start to love yourself. I've never seen the latter work out, and I've chosen to take the route of I'm going to love and embrace this body as it is today, as it changes in the future, and that will create healthier mindsets and habits. So in that spirit, I have a pair of skinny jeans that I really need to get rid of because they are way too tight. The first time I washed them, they got shrunk in the dryer, which was really tragic because I just spent that money on them, but they are too small for me, so it's something that I need to part ways with because it's not flattering my current body, and I have so many pieces that will. Unlike my too tight skinny jeans, I have other pieces in my closet that aren't flattering on me, and maybe you can relate. It's not that the piece isn't good. It might look good on someone else, but it's just not so flattering on me. So I have a pair of white jeans that I've had for so many years, and over the years they have just gotten a little bit more cropped and a little bit more tight. They've just been washed a lot and have shrunk. So when I first bought them, they looked really, really cute, and now they just look like high waters. The note I'm making as I'm decluttering this though is that they are a straight leg. If they were cropped flares, I would actually really still like this length, but because they're straight, it tends to make me look like I'm wearing pants that are just too short. Another thing that I've decluttered because it's not flattering on me personally are earthy tone pieces. Now I've had so many friends who have that earthy vibe and aesthetic, and they only wear earthy toned clothes, but for me it just washes out my complexion and my radiance. So even though I would love to have that same vibe as them, I don't. Instead, I'm learning to embrace what is really flattering on me and say no to the things that aren't. So hopefully this opens up some ideas for you of pieces that aren't flattering on you, not because you're wrong, but because the piece is wrong for you. So go ahead and declutter those things that just aren't flattering. Remember I said at the start of this video that the end goal is to have your most flattering, beautiful outfits, your most stylish outfits on repeat regularly. So what are you wearing when it's not something like that? You're wearing the B team. Things that you just don't feel good in. There's nothing technically wrong with the piece. It might be even flattering on you, but you just don't love wearing. So I had this gray cardigan that just felt frumpy on me. And nobody ever said like, oh, you look kind of sad in that. It's just I didn't like wearing it. So instead of keeping it and keeping that frumpy feeling, I blessed it forward to someone else. And now I am free to enjoy the pieces that I really feel my best in. Another thing that might be in your B team roster are things that are uncomfortable. So itchy sweaters, too tight collars, pieces you can't really sit or stand in normally. That's why I like to show you B-roll of how I'm moving in my outfits, because a lot of pieces can look good in photos, and especially if you've never washed them. But I like to show you pieces that I'm repeatedly wearing because I've washed them a few times, I've lived in them, I've moved around in them. And I want to show you that because you need to know, does it feel good living in this piece, or does it just look good on the hanger? And hopefully that is helpful for you as you're creating outfits in your wardrobe. Sentimental items is a category that I used to have a lot of, but I have since decluttered. So as I was combing through my wardrobe for some example of this, I realized that I do have a set of gold bracelets that a friend of mine gifted me a couple of years ago, and the finish just corroded, so it really doesn't look good. But before I declutter this, I want to learn from it. So I'm analyzing, okay, I didn't like that it was gold painted. It didn't last very long for me. So I'm not going to replace it with the same piece. I'm going to wait to save up to buy something that is a semi-fine or fine piece of jewelry. And that's how we learn to declutter smarter. Okay, raise your hand if you've heard this expression, oh, my bridesmaid's dress, I'll just shorten it and wear it again. I have had several bridesmaid's dresses and I have never once shortened it and worn it again, but I have used that cop-out to not declutter a piece that I'm never going to wear again. So I still have exactly one bridesmaid's dress that I think would be like a nice gown to wear at a separate time. Look at this piece and let me know, do you think this is something that I could wear again for a special event? Or do you think it's something that screams a bridesmaid's dress on repeat for your lifestyle? Does the amount of special event pieces match, or is that something that you might want to declutter? Excess duplicates are pieces that you have multiples of, but you really only wear your select favorite few. Maybe it kind of hurts to get rid of the others because it sounds like a collection. I know some people wear a different pair of vintage jeans every day, and so having a collection of 10 makes sense for them. However, I'd like to pull from a sentiment from the Minimalist documentary that it's not a number of pieces that you need to have a decluttered house. It's really what are you utilizing. So for me, I have a lot of books, but I utilize them. I don't, however, have a lot of jeans because I mostly like to wear dresses. But in sorting through my wardrobe, I realized I have an excess duplicate. I have two of almost the same piece. It's this camel colored sweater top, and it's because the first piece kind of started looking faded and worn out, so I replaced it without getting rid of the first piece. Instead, I just started wearing the second piece a lot, and the first piece was just clutter in my wardrobe. So the idea of excess duplicates isn't about reducing your wardrobe to a certain number of the same piece. It's really about what are you utilizing. By tossing things like this old worn out sweater, I am more clear when I head into my closet that every piece I own is going to serve me. The last category of things to declutter to enhance your personal style are shoes, our beloved shoes. Oftentimes shoes are the favorite part of a woman's wardrobe, and I'm someone who used to have a shoe case, which is a bookcase that I converted to basically be like a museum for all my shoes that I didn't actually wear. So I totally understand your sentiment if you're thinking shoes are my favorite thing, I don't want to get rid of any of them. However, if you're having to dust or maintain your shoes more than you're actually wearing them, then they aren't serving you, you're serving them. So it might be time to run through your shoes and think about, does it match my current style, my lifestyle, and even my shoe size now? So with that sentiment, I found 3 pairs of shoes in my closet that no longer work for me. The first pair is this white sneakers that are just outdated. These are shoes that everybody wore for the last decade or so, but now chunkier sneakers are in style, and when I tried them on, I was shocked to realize that they're actually way more flattering for my body. A dainty little shoe makes my hips look larger, but a chunkier sneaker actually balances out the curvature of my hips. The next pair of shoes that aren't really working for me are a pair that are really worn out because I like them so much. Like, I wish I could replace it with the exact style, but they're several years old. I've actually reattached the lining of these sandals twice now, and it's still falling off, so it's definitely time to replace them. And lastly, something that is just one of my weird pet peeves is clunky shoes. I do not want people to hear me coming before I walk into a room. So these brown boots that have served me well the last few years, they no longer are something that I want to have as part of my style. I want to be more graceful, and even the height of the heel is too high because I do like to walk around a lot. So I'm just taking down a little note that I want a lower heel next time I shop for boots. I know that any piece that you decide to declutter can have a sentimental meaning to you, or it can have a meaning to you because you spent money on it. But the more you can learn to declutter things that you're not wearing anyway, the more you're going to have a streamlined wardrobe and an improved sense of your personal style. I encourage you to think of your own wardrobe and these 10 categories of pieces that you might want to declutter. And I hope that this video has served as inspiration for you to do just that. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you aren't already subscribed, subscribe to my channel because I have a new video every week for women who value their personal style over fashion. And since you like this video, I recommend that the next one you watch are the 5 wardrobe changes for better personal style. I'll see you next week with a brand new video, but until then, take care.